Hello, YouTubers. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. It's a lovely Monday, rainy day here in Ohio. I love rainy days. They're just beautiful to me. Yes, Otis loves rainy days too. All right, so thanks to everyone who have subscribed to my channel and who follow me on Facebook. I'm going to be putting out some more videos. I just love my Otis videos. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, please be sure to do that. Okay, so what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about the king and his warning to Prince William. It's very relevant to, I think, issues around Harry and Meghan, but mostly his warning to William and Catherine. All right, so let's talk about it and get into it. Before we get into the video, I do want to acknowledge the Mother Nature video that came out around spring, and the Prince and Princess of Wales have put this video out. It's called Mother Nature Spring, and it's really nice. It's a beautiful video about spring. Her Royal Highness encourages people to step away from digital world and to reconnect with the environment in a new video series. And I think it also gave another deeper meaning to some of the current issues right now within the royal family, but in a very positive way. And I think it's a time to renew and to really put in that perseverance to continue working hard, to acknowledge the things of the outside and getting back to nature and the important things. This video is on point. I love to see it when they put out new videos that highlight other things that we can all relate to. We're never going to know what it's like to be in the royal family, but we can certainly see and appreciate what it's like to be a human being. We're all here on this earth sharing it together, and we can appreciate a lot of the things that were talked about in this video. So if you have a chance to watch it, the link is going to be in this video. Please check it out. And I love to see when Catherine is out doing what she does around her work to support the royal family, because it's always much appreciated that she is the advocate, because we all love her and she brings such good vibes to anything that she does, really, on behalf of the royal family. And I'm so glad and thankful that she is there, that there is a Catherine that exudes beauty, grace, elegance, the commitment to duty and call of action to the work that she knew she was going to be doing when she married into the royal family, and her support of her husband. That brings me to my video for today and what we're talking about with the king. So this article is talking about the king's warning to Prince William. And the meaning of this is so on point. And I've even mentioned it in my videos. So his warning was essentially about marriage, and that, he would know he's had two of them. He's had two marriages. The article talks about how his first marriage to Princess Diana was doomed, but his second marriage is going strong. Now, I am going to say some things. I'm just going to warn you. I'm going to say some things that you may not like. But we have to come in truth. Even sometimes the truth can be difficult to swallow. But recognizing the truth is important, because you can't look at a big elephant in the room and just act like the elephant is not there. I mean, come on. There are things that we have to acknowledge about the king. And, hey, I'm sure the king, he's had to do it. He did. He acknowledged it in the church. Okay, I'm sure you know what I'm going to say. But, hey, you have to do it. But it seems that the king has reflected on his marriage experience and wanted to give his oldest son, Prince William, words of wisdom when it comes to his own marriage to Catherine, Princess of Wales. So according to royal biographer Ingrid Seward, Charles gave his son advice that sounds almost like a warning. And he told William, quote, "Don't make the mistakes that I made," close quote. And that acknowledgement of mistakes, I think, is what people wanted to hear from the king, because there's respect there when you can acknowledge how you have screwed up. And we know the king did screw up with his marriage to Diana. I'm sorry, but he did. Okay? I think the marriage was propelled by his father and the royal family in general, the queen, wanting William to marry a certain kind of woman rather than the woman that he loved and wanted to marry, which was Camilla. And that, I think some of the onus is on them as well. Diana truly was the sacrifice. And from that sacrifice, I think there has to be a lot of learning from that, a lot of acknowledgement that you can't repeat what happened to Diana with other women in the royal family. And I think the royals did do that. They learned from their mistakes with Diana. And that's part of the thing that where Meghan comes in, because they didn't want things to happen the way they were with Diana. And this is why Meghan was given so much more, because of how they knew they messed up with Diana and how they brought her into the royal family, and she had to fend for herself. She had really no support, and she was young and naive at the time. It was just a disaster for her. But that acknowledgement is important, and that's how you know Meghan and all of her lies are the problem, because they did everything, the royals did everything they could not to repeat the mistakes with Diana, with Meghan, or Catherine for that matter. And then the question becomes then, what mistakes is the king acknowledging that he actually made? It seems that he thinks he prioritized his work above his relationship with his wife. Yeah, he did. So Seward has told Fox News Digital that Charles told William, quote, "I just did duty. I neglected my marriage and look what happened," close quote. Yeah, Diana did not have the support. She complained about it. And part of what I don't like about that is in the whole time that Diana was going through the issues that she was going through, they wanted to make her out to be a crazy person. Like she was the one that was the problem because she was out of her mind, but crazy. But the case was not that. It was what Diana has already said, that her husband just was not there for her. The reality was he was doing other things. Part of which was, I think, seeing Camilla later on in the marriage, and also his work around the royal duties that he had. That's the reality. So don't come beating up on me for saying it. Okay? The closer or the sooner you can realize what the truth is, the sooner you are to being set free from delusion. Because we have to stick to the truth no matter how much it hurts. Charles gave his son advice because he wanted his marriage to Catherine to succeed, and it seems that William has taken his advice to heart. One good example of this can be seen from the last year when Catherine's cancer battle. First, in January, she had planned for this abdominal surgery. And then later it was revealed that this cancer was a result of the surgery, and that the cancer had been present, and that she could be undergoing preventative cancer treatments. So while her diagnosis and recovery meant that she stepped away from her royal duties, she wasn't going to be alone. And William also stepped away from his royal duties to support Catherine. Something that the king could now acknowledge that that's just not something that he did. And I think also to the king's advantage is that he didn't know how. It was his first marriage. I don't think the king really knew how to be the kind of husband that someone like a 19-year-old Diana needed. The king was green in many ways around marriage. As much as Diana was green around being in the royal family, the king was also green around being married to a woman that was so needy. I mean, there was a no-win for any of them, for Diana or for King Charles. So we have to acknowledge that they too both had their own issues that they were dealing with that made problems as well for them both to deal with being married. So Ingrid went on to also say that Catherine had fantastic support from William. He publicly said that it's been the toughest year that he has ever had, and it's been very difficult. So we can only imagine how difficult it really must have been, because William also had to reassure their 3 young children that Mummy's going to be okay. Kids get very worried when their parents are unwell, especially for such a length of time. What is important here is that William has been a huge support of Catherine. Charles Charles has also supported William in his support of Catherine. And Seward also went on to say that I think that it has been very tough, and that he has been an enormous support, and in turn, he has supported his father. And so when you look at how the king acknowledged his mistakes with his own wife, his first wife, he also, I think, through the royal family, acknowledged other mistakes that they made around bringing people who weren't accustomed to royal life. So I think this is why Catherine has such a very seamless transition into royal life. It's because she was up for doing the job. She was ready to do the work. But then you bring someone in like Meghan to do the work, and you look at her and her background and be like, sorry, honey, you're not going to do well in this position, okay? And that's what Meghan did. She tried to fool people that she was going to do the work. She was ready to do this work because she was an actress. False hope she gave is what Meghan did. And so people wanted to support that. The king wanted to support that. But then at the end of the day, Meghan just was not going to do what she said she was going to do. So no matter what amount of support the king, anyone gave Harry or Meghan, they were never going to adhere to what was required of them, because Meghan knew from the very beginning this was not going to be for her. But Catherine knew it was going to be something she was going to adhere to. And that's why Catherine is still there and Meghan is gone. Because I think the royal family wanted to prevent having any issues with Meghan because of what they learned from Diana. And they thought, well, Catherine's doing it. Let's see if this Meghan actress divorced American can also listen and adhere to what is required of her. And she couldn't. But the support that the king has given Catherine via her husband, William, his son, I think is on point for such a great moment to show how you yourself may have failed at something, but then how you can also be successful. And to also say that the king is acknowledging his mistake in a way to not repeat the same mistakes that he made. It's almost like a rejuvenation. Like the video from Catherine, the springs, it's time to own up to a new beginnings. And I think these new beginnings are moving forward with the king acknowledging things that he did not do correctly. I think the fact that Diana had to put up with a lot of things on a public stage made it even more difficult for her. It just is such a tragedy. But I think we should never forget the role that Diana played in the monarchy, and how I don't think she'd be happy around her sons not speaking to each other. I think she would be very upset at what Meghan has done to Harry. Now, Harry is a grown man. He has to be responsible for his own choices. But at the end of the day, this was all something that was started and happened because of what Meghan brought into the family. Meghan has brought a lot of disruption into the family to cause the division between the brothers. And Diana would not have approved of that. So we just got to acknowledge, okay? Mistakes were made. But there's always a time for renewing, forgiveness, and to do things better. And acknowledging when you just got it wrong. And that's why William and Catherine are going to be just fine in their marriage, because they've got the support of the king and how he wanted to be better. But that Meghan and Harry, those wackadoos over in Montecito, it's over. Like I said, it's a wrap for you. Because nothing is going to get you out of the conundrum that they are in right now. They are on the losing end of history and future. It won't fare well, but it will fare well for William and Catherine. And we're all here for it. I know I am. I love the Waleses. The new generation of the Waleses in the monarchy is faring just fine, and we're happy about that. Okay. Well, that's all I have for this video. I appreciate hearing this information from the king and his warning to his son, Prince William. There is hope at the end of the rainbow, folks. There is hope for things being done in a very royal, very acceptable kind of way. All right. All righty. Okay. I guess this is the end of the video, folks. Okay. And I'll see you in the next one. Toodles.